Everyone, thank you for joining again today. Thank you for joining day 6 of our coding bootcamp. Thank you for joining again today. Thank you for joining us on this Code Hero journey. Thank you for joining us on the Code Hero journey. On the Code Hero journey. Thank you once again. All right. Thank you for joining us again on the Code Hero journey. We've added one, and today is day 6. On day 5, we focus mostly on Git. How to clone a repository, what a repository is, which is a central server that manages or versioning our codes, storage of our code, so that others can contribute on the same project. Then we look at frequently used Git commands. We look at Git clone for copy or downloading a fresh copy of a repository from the server. We also look at Git add to stage a new file or updated file for upload, and then commit to save whatever changes that have been made. Then we have a Git push to push whatever thing we have done. We also look at a Git checkout for branching out to a new branch, our own copy of branch where we can make our own changes. Today we will look at map, and then we look at a few other functions in the collections, and we will make some changes. We will write our individual codes. We will push to our branch again, and we want to match whatever changes we have done to the server. So we will look at how we match changes. We'll look at how we request for others to review whatever thing we have done, and how to approve and make it get to the production environment. These are the things that we'll be taking a look at today. So I'll go back to our Visual Studio Code. Let me go back to the Visual Studio Code. On the Visual Studio Code, we'll go to our Visual Studio Code, and here we'll look at what we have done so far. Okay, so here, let me see, recent files, wasn't it the notes? Let's look at notes. Okay, file, recent bootcamp, which file to, okay, we've worked on variables, right? We work on variables. Let me see other files that we have worked on. We work on okay, variables, tools. What are the other files? Collections. I think we have collections. I think I change. Let me change. Okay. So collections. Now here under collections, we have dealt with collections. So we look at all these in collections. We look at array list, isn't it? We look at array list, and we look at functions class. I think we look at function, how to add, get quadratic roots, get total names. Then we treated strings. We treated different methods in strings, right? So using the get all names, we use the get all names to treat all method of strings. To split, I hope we actually went through that. To split a string, we did string splitting, or we look at length, checking the length of a string, we also look at not just checking the length, we look at converting to uppercase, lowercase, getting a letter at any index of it. So that's string. So I'll go to collections to review some of the things we have discussed there. And in collections, we look at arrays. We look at how to create array. That the array can be a collection of any primitives or objects, but with fixed length. So when we are declaring the array, we declare it with a fixed length, which we can also initialize it with a data or not with data. So, and if you take a look at it, there is a method called create array that we have here. And in this method, we have numbers, we declare numbers, and we have prices, we have names, and then these two, we have cities, we define cities here. And then the CC is empty array, but with length 5. So we try to access default, what are the default values? The default values in each of the array that is initialized will be the default data type. An array that contains strings, the default data types will be null, null, null. An array that contains number, like prices, the default data type will be, double, like which is 0, and things like that. So, and then we'll try to update prices, we'll try to update cities, and then we'll try to print out what the new content is. We try to print out what the new content is. So that is about array. I'm sure we understand the array. And let's quickly do a quick walk. Let's do a quick walk. In your branch, let's have an array. I think there was one assignment I gave us then. Okay, create. So let's do this together. And then we run on map. Let me look at this. We have create student records map, having student number as key and array list as the value. And there is this. Then we have a get student, which will take a student number. List contain the student data, and then print list display student data, data in a single line. Now, so that is the assignment that was supposed to cover everything we have done. So let's quickly review other collections. After the arrays, I made mention of array list, and I told you that array list is a dynamic array, like unlike array where you have a fixed length. Array list is a dynamic length. That is, the length is not fixed. The length is changing. The length of an array list is changing. It can double at every time that the content you add to it is more than the size, or is more than the half of the current size, so you double the length so that you can keep adding to it. So an example we have here, we created an array list of string, and then we initialize it here, but because it's not a fixed length, so we can continue to add something to it by calling the add method. So we have countries, we have a countries.add Nigeria, country.add Sweden, and then a country returns a method. We have treated functions before. We have functions that returns value and function that does not return value. The one that does not return value is void, has a void return type. Otherwise, it will be the type of expected data type. And then we said that given an array list, how can we remove something from the collection? We can remove something by calling the remove method of that array list or list. The remove method will remove the elements at a particular index or the actual element from the collections. And our main method, don't forget that to have a standalone program, the entry class should have a main method, and that main method is defined like this. The methods must have a public modifier, and it should be static because it should not change. And then the method should be called main, has no return value, and it has this single argument called string. This string is an array. Now the arguments can be anything because it's an array. Now we have a class. To use our current class, we need to initialize the class by using the new keyword. We need to initialize the class by using the new keyword. Initialize the class by using new keyword. Initialize class by using the new keyword. And then after it has been initialized, then you can now call any method of the class by using dot the method name to execute it. So we have a method called create countries, right? So, and this create countries returns a list of countries string, and then we have a method to print out those records, those records. So we printed them out here. And then we also look at removing from the collection by calling the remove index. Do you get it? Then finally we have a method to print out. Then we add new entries to the collections. After that, we move to set. And I said the difference between a set and array list is that array list can take multiple records, multiple items of duplicates, duplicate items. However, a set does not allow duplicates. If you like add 100 duplicates, you will only take one from the duplicates. And as an example, we have 9, 13, 21, 13, 21, 21. The three unique numbers here are just 9, 13, and 21. And if you print this content, you will have what? You have 3 items, even though 7 items were put there. When you are writing the algorithm, you want to find unique elements, unique number in a set, unique names in a list of names. You understand? Unique property in a list of property. We can use that to do what? To actually get unique properties or values or entities within an item. When an indexed element is removed, the new indexed element becomes null. Is this correct? No. If an index is removed, what the system does is that it will shift. It will perform a left shift. which means that all data in that element move to the next one so that the length gets readjusted. So if you have an element contains 4 records, and then you remove element at index 4 or index 3 rather, because it is 0 indexed, what you are going to have is that there will not be any element at index 3 again. That array is truncated at that point, and then you have 3 items, which means that the highest index will now be 2. Do you get that? So that's about set, and our implementation class is hash set. Then we have key value pair, and I explained to us that hash map is a key value pair, and where a key points to a value, a key or ID or index points to a value. A value can be object, a value can be a list, so the key points to that. And I said that it is the fastest when it comes to storing and retrieving, because it has what we call one constant time. One constant time means that you fetch once without doing any looping. For example, you want to search for something on index 4, you have to loop. The array will have to take a loop before it gets to that very index. So it's expensive based on the size of the array. Maybe you are finding for something that you don't know. If you do a for loop, at the end of the day, that object may not be found until you get to the end of that, or you can be found at the beginning. So the worst case scenario is a length, is traversing through the length of that array list. Unlike map, when you have the object, you have the ID, it is one time constant lookup. Let's take a look of country capitals. Here we want to know for each country what is the capital city. Then we have Nigeria as the key, we have the country name as the key, and the capital as the value. So you have Nigeria, Abuja, Sweden, Stockholm, Canada, Ottawa, Japan, Tokyo. So, and if we print this out, you will see that it's equals to. Now, having said that, let's look at our assignment. This is where we start our problem solving skills. So we need to listen very well so that we can analyze correctly. Now, in this assignment, that we have, we will see that we have create student records. Now we are saying that map can also be treated as like a database, where you have the ID as, or the primary key as the key of the map, and the content of the value that the ID is pointing to is the row in the database. When we get to database, we understand that better. And that is it. Or let's say on the street now, you have database of streets, and you want to get individual house in those streets. You can put those house. Each house is numbered, isn't it? So you can have the number as a key, and then the description of the house or every other thing as the value. So that's how map works. Now let's look at a student record, whereby we are using map as the database. In this case, we are saying that the student number is the key and array list as a value. Array list as the value. Now that list, which is the value, contains first name, second name, first name, last name, department, level, hostel, and CGPA. That's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 items are put into array list. Do you understand? Which means in that array list, the index. So let's analyze now. So we have index, say list, list record. Record here is our array list. List, and then has index 0, index. So 0 is what? 0 is our first name. Index 1 will be the last name. Like that until we get to CGPA. Right? And then the student ID is our key, equals to student ID, student number is our key, and this key will point to the list of what? Of record. And the record contains what? Index 0, first name, last name, department, level, hostel, CGPA. Do we get it now? Now we have this, so we will now need to have a class. And so in creating student record 1, this is a step. Now we have identified that we are using map as our collection of our database, and we are using list to hold the student information. Now the first thing is that we need to have a class called students. We need to have a class, create a class named students, that is students.java. So the class is students, and the file name is what? Is students, because your class name is same thing as the file name, so .java. The second thing you are going to do, have a method in the Java, in the class name, call add students. Call add, and then in that add, it should take parameters. The parameters are first name, string last name, right? String department, right? String hostel, and then says string GPA. CGPA. So that's the method. Now in that method you should create array list, and add each parameters of each argument. add each argument. In your class, first, that's not it. In your class, 2, define define a variable named students of data type array list or list. Say list of type string, list of string. Then 3, list of string. Then 3 in the constructor initialize the variable students. Okay, so after that, 4, create a method add, and this method should have this argument, and in those arguments create an array list, add that, then what is her name? Okay, so create an array list. Within that, add the array list to the map of students, which means I've made a mistake here. Map of students. So here, define a variable name student of data type map. Map of string and list. Map of string, that is the key is string and the value is list. So let's do this. Map of list. Let's do this first. Let's do this first. As you can see, so create a new class. Create a new class called students with student name students, and you should have a constructor called students, public students. Look at my collection. Look at my collection here. This is what I mean by constructor. Constructor is a default method of a class. So the default method of a class and it bears the same class name. So public, and it's always public collections. Public collections, and then bracket open and close, and a curly brace. This is public collection, is the constructor of this class. That is the default method of this class. This is how collection have been defined. Imagine I want to, instead of this city that I've defined here, I can move this city. Say I can move this city and take it here. So I've defined a variable called city. and inside the constructor, I want to initialize this city like this. Now this is what I am doing now. So I have a class called collections. I hope we are following. I have a class called collections, and then I have a global variable called cities, but this cities is an array list. I have defined this variable, which means that this variable is available in any methods within the class. Now in the collection constructor, a constructor, like I said, is the default method. It can take arguments, it may not take arguments. In our own case, it doesn't take arguments. Let's start without arguments. When we get to objects, we will look at adding arguments to that. So this is a class name, and this is the default constructor. And inside the constructor, I initialize the city. So if you have gotten this explanation, say write fine. If you have gotten the explanation so far, write fine. If you have gotten the explanation so far, just write fine. Write fine. If you have gotten the explanation so far, write fine. If you have gotten the explanation so far, write fine. Write fine. If you have gotten the explanation so far, write fine. All I ask you to do is to write fine if you have gotten the explanation, not even the assignments. Just write fine before you attempt to start doing the assignment. Just write fine. Write fine. Okay, so now, since you are not sure that you have gotten it, go ahead and create your class. Just create the class. What I want you to do now is that create your class. Create your class with a default. Leave all the other details that I've asked you to do. All I want you to do now is that create a class called students. The students should have a student variable, like I define cities. but instead of array, your own student variable should be a map. So, and then in the constructor, initialize the map. Once you have done that, write done. Once you have done that, write done. Once you have done that, write done. Create a class. Create a class. Public class students, and then map students. Then in your class, have a constructor. A constructor is the default method that shares the same name with the class name. Let's do that quickly. And then inside the constructor initialize the map. I've shown you how to initialize map. If you are not sure how to initialize map, let's take a look at map here. Look at the country capital. Look at the country capital example. Look at country capital examples. Instead of country capital this time around, your variable is called students, and then the map string of type string, but yours should be string of type list. So you have string then comma list. So this is what should be initialized in your constructor. Country capital equals to new hash map, or your student equals to new student. Let's do that fast so that we can move. If you have done it, put done. 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 That shouldn't take you more than 2 minutes to do. So country capitals, use that as your let's do that. Doesn't matter whether you get it or not. Just do that. Create the class now and initialize. If you have done it now, I want to see what you have done. So on your command prompt, go back to your command prompt console and write git add dot git commit. See what I'm going to do. You are going to have something like so let's go Let's go terminal. So on my terminal, I'm going to have so here we are going to have git add dot. Once you know that you have created your class, write git add dot and press enter. Ensure that you are in the Bootcamp directory on your console. Let's move fast so that we can close on time. Okay, this is what is going to happen so we can close on time. This is what's going to happen. We are going back to, okay, so when you have done whatever thing you have done, click git add, click git add, and then type git commit to save your work, git commit, and then put add or created new student class. So do that. So created new student class, and then it will tell you changes that you have made. Then type git push. You need to push it back to your repository. Git push origin. What is your branch? My own branch is master. Yours could be Philo. Yours could be Shola. So whatever branch, your branch name, put your branch name and click push. Then it will ask you for password. Put in your password and let it go. Let's do that. Once you have done it, type pushed on the screen. Once you have done yours, type pushed on the screen. Type pushed on the screen. Once you have done it, I'm going to do this. After you have done that, type pushed. Have you done that? If you have done that, pushed. Awesome. That's great. That will be the end of programming for today. Now I'm going to update what we have now. I'm going to add say added task 1. So I've added task 1 so that we can bonus. Okay, great. So now is that we are going to go back to Git. After you have pushed, let's say you have given an assignment or you are in a team, they gave you a task to do, you have written the class, you have tested it, but you need your team lead to review it or your colleague to review what you have done so that they can pass your job. That takes us to the next phase, which is called code review. So it's called code review. So in this code review, what do? Is that we review others' code, we look at the changes that have taken place. And so first, you need to go to your browser, go back to your browser to Bootcamp repo. Go back to the Bootcamp repo. Go back to Bootcamp repo. Let's see. Go back to Bootcamp repo. When you are there, let me know. If you are on Bootcamp repo, say Bootcamp. If you are on Bootcamp repo, write Bootcamp. If you are on Bootcamp repo, write Bootcamp. So we see on the screen Bootcamp repo. Okay, if you are there, just type Bootcamp. Type Bootcamp. Type Bootcamp. If you are on Bootcamp repo on the screen that you are seeing my screen, then type Bootcamp. Type Bootcamp. Type Bootcamp. So the next thing we want to do, we want to create a code review. We want to review our codes. So now you will go to your branch. Go to your branch. If your branch is filled, go to bridge. How do you go there? You will see on my screen, you will see a drop down menu called master. You will see master. You will see master button. So you click on master. On master button, you will click on master. Click on master, and from master, click the drop down. From the drop down, select your own branch. Select your branch. Select your branch. You will see your branch in the list of the branches. Select it. Select your branch. Select your branch. Once you have selected your branch, as a test, I'm selecting Shola now. We want to create a pull request. We want to create a pull request. Then on top, you will see pull request button. You see pull request button after you have selected your branch. Go to the top of the page. You will see issues by the left side. You will see issues. You will see action, project. You will see pull request. After you have selected your branch, you see pull request. Pull request. Pull request. You should see pull request. Pull request. There's a button called pull request. There's a button called pull request. Then click on that button. Click on it. After you click on it, then you should be able to see welcome to pull request. There is nothing now, so go to new request, new pull request, new pull request, create new pull request. When you get there, it will show you all the branches that are available, branches to compare changes from. Now the production branch is called master. So you want to take the changes you have done on your system, on your branch, to the master, or for every other person to review. So you will see the arrow. The arrow will point to where you want to send your request to. The arrow will point to, so you see base, master. If you click on the drop down, you see master, Shola, and all that. But we want to send it to master. But currently it's on compare master to base master. So that compare should be your own branch. So select it and select your branch. Select it and select your branch. Select it and select your branch. Now say I want to push from Shola branch to master branch. I will select Shola. That means compare Shola then to base master. If it is field, it will be compare field to base master. Now once you see it, it will tell you if there is no problem with your changes. You say able to match. If your project has conflicts, maybe it's not updated, it will show you an error. But once you see able to merge, now you will see something. And what are the things you are going to see is that the changes you have made, you will see it in green. If you have deleted anything, it will do what? It will show what you have deleted. If your current code is not showing, that is the current students.java class is not showing as part of the changes, it means that you have missed a step. Either you have not done git add dot, or you did not do commit after you did git add before you pushed. As long as you don't commit, it will not be pushed. That it will not be staged for upload. You must do git add space dot, then git commit -n, then double quote, put inside it message you want to put there, and press enter. After that, you can now do git push. If you miss any of those steps and you just pushed, then your changes will not be reflected. Your changes will not be reflected. It must be in that order. So once you have done that, you will see your changes. Then you click on create pull request. Create pull request. And then it will give you an automatically generated title for you. So updated readme file, we can leave it that way. But in another way, if you have something more, I will say that my pull request should be created students record. Now, because this is not my own project, I will not create this pull request. So you just click create pull request, then leave a comment. In this comment, you can put now detailed explanation of what you have done. Created a class, have a map for collection of student information, added main method to test. So this will be like what you will be doing, but not exactly like create method. For example, you write a class to maybe access record, format the record, then you put the individual subtask that your code has tried to achieve. So that is that's what we are doing. So if you see red that your code cannot be automatically merged, don't worry, I'll tell you how to fix that. But still go ahead and click the create pull request button. Click the create pull request button. Click the create pull request button. Once you click that, your pull request will appear. If I click the pull request again, then I expect someone to have done that. Click create pull request. Just click create pull request so that I can check it here. Just write anything in the comments. Doesn't have to be exactly what I put there. Just write something briefly and I click the create pull request. So we can wrap up for the day. Tomorrow's class we'll talk about another thing we can do with JIT, especially when you have errors that has to do with something that cannot be merged. That is called rebase. It's a very important though advanced concept. You will need to learn it too. I think there was a time that I was working in a team and I didn't know how to use rebate. That actually messed me up because I could not revert my thing. It's not like Microsoft Word. So we will need to learn rebate. Rebase. You know what rebase is. Okay. So I'll click the pull request. Yes, it means that someone has created one now. So if I click on that, I'm supposed to see two. That means someone has not done his or has. So I'm waiting. So you will see that on the top of this pull request is showing that open. That means it has not been attended to. It has not been reviewed. It has not been, reviewed. It has not been reviewed. So let's go ahead So if you go back here, this is what every other person sees. For example, if you have done your project, you have done it, and he said, oh, let me review my code, I have just made an update. So the person that is going to review will just come to pull request. He will see the one that you have done and click on it. Then after clicking on it, the person will be able to see what you have worked on. You understand? Like here now, I see assignment, student assignment, and if I go to file change, I should be able to see what you have done. You see, I will not have to see the whole class. I don't need to see the whole class. So like in this one now, this assignment is wrong. So in the student, when we are reviewing, if I want to review, I'll just say, okay, review changes, and I'll pack comments. I will say that string student, this line, I can click on this line and say this should be map string list of type string student. So I'll put that there. I'll put that there, and then say this is student. I put that comment there now, and then in the constructor, this constructor is also wrong. So I'll go to that line, I'll click plus to add my comment, and then I will say that this line, instead of this that is supposed to be student, you don't need to put data type because you have already stated the data type in the first line. So the student equals to new hash mark. So you add that comment. So after I've added that, those are the two places that I see changes that needs to be made. Then I can finish my review and say that I want a change. You understand? I have left some changes. Please update. So which means I am not approving this PR. I have made some comments, and I want you to now go back, take a look at my various comments, and go back to your code and modify it. Do you get it? So you will now have to go back to your code. Go back to your code now. At fill, go back to your code locally on your system. Open, look at what has been done. What are comments that have been made. You yourself can go there and look at the comments. At times you get notification in your mail for such comments. So you go there, look at the suggested, because it is good to make suggestion rather than saying you should. Some people just write, don't you think you should declare comments here? Don't you think you should use list? That's not best way. That's not a good way to review a code. You make suggestion, or even when it is okay, you feel that you think it could be done better this way, and leave your comments. So you now go back to your code and make those changes. After you have made those changes, then you run git add again, git commit updated students file to properly define map. So after you have done that, you push your changes again. Then once you have put your changes again, I will tell you the next step. So can we do that now? Can we do that? Let's make those changes. Make those changes, add them, and push. To find the comments, go online to the Bootcamp repository. When you get there, on the top of the bar, you will see pull request. Click on pull request, and then from pull request, you will see your own pull request. Click on it. After you have clicked on it, then you will see some tabs like conversation, commits, checks. You will see the comments on your files from there. If you have made those changes, so make those changes. make those changes and push your updates. Push your updates. Push your updates. Push your updates. And don't forget on top of your class import java dot this is assignment 1, this is tax 1, and then create this create a class, define a variable, and then so in the constructor we have this, say for in on top of your class add import java.util.list import java.util.arraylist, import java.util.map, import java.util.hashmap. All right, so I made a comment. Now if you go back to the bootcamp and the master branch, go inside the assignment folder, and you look at the tax1.md, that you will see the information that I put there about the assignment. Create so let's do it this way. And then So if you go to let me check. Okay, I can see student.java. Now create a PR for yourself. Create a PR. So go to the top of the button, pull request. Okay, I can see yours too. Then let me take a review. Okay, this branch is looking nice because you had an update earlier on that contains full code. So I will look at the file change, import java.ut.hashmap, then hashmap string list, student record, then student record. So new hashmap, this is not correct. Okay, so let me review your own change here. Students, this should be students. That was what we asked you to do. This should be not hash map, just a map. Always try to use the interface students. Then in the constructor, the student record is not needed and is wrong, so it should be student equals to new hash map. This. So I'm going to finish my review and say request for change. I left some reviews. Please make the changes and revert. So submit. Now go back to your code. Now go to the pull request, click on your pull request, click on your pull request, and you will see conversations. Under the conversations, you will see the changes that have been requested. Make a change, go back to your source code locally on your system, make those changes and repeat the process of pushing it. Make those changes, then do git add, git commit, and then git push. Let's do that quickly. Once you have done it, just write corrected. Once you have made those changes, write corrected. Once you have made those changes, write corrected. Once you have made those changes, write corrected. Once the changes have been made, you will see pending. You will show pending on your PR. go to the PR, go to the pull request, look for your own name, click on your name. When you click on your name, you will see conversations. In the conversations, it will show where you have made mistake and where you need to correct those mistakes. So look at those mistakes and go back to your source code and correct them. Once the correction has been made, let me know. Once the correction has been made and you have pushed back, write corrected. Write corrected if it has been made. Now, if it has been made, let me go back and check for the ones that was corrected. I'll go back to the pull request again. I see one from Phil. And then student list. I think where is it? Okay, this is outdated. So what about the fresh one? Let me see your file changes. Okay, the student map string list, students equals to new hash map. Do more, add java.util.import map also. java.util.import map. java.util.import map. Add it and make the changes again. Add it, update, and push your files. Add it and push your files again. On the top of the class, add import java.util.map. I don't want to put the comment there, so just write java.util.map on top of. You just go to, if you are looking for the conversations, just go again, like I said, go to the Bootcamp repository. Go to Bootcamp repository, and then on top of the page you will see a button, pull request. You will see pull request 2. It means that there are 2 pull requests that have not been either reviewed or approved. Go to pull request and see the ones that have not been approved. Just click on the pull request button. When you click on the pull request button, you will see the one that is yours. It will show your name. So you will see the pull request that is yours. You see the pull request that is yours. Go to the pull request that is yours and then click on your name. Click on your name, pull request that is yours. Then from there, click on your name. Click on your name. When you click on your name there, it should show you your name, and then automatically there are 4 tabs: conversation, commits, checks, files change. You will already see the comments on your code. You will see comments on your code. So just look at those various comments, go back to your code and make the modification. If you are currently connected and you are in the class, please like the current live. Are we there? Have you put your changes? Or let me check again. Is there any fresh updates? Is there any fresh update? Let me see if the file is changed. I've not seen any fresh updates. So make the changes and make the changes, do git add, git commit, and push. Let's do that so that we can wrap up. We are done for today. Let's wrap this up. Just little thing. We are making progress. 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 Please make those changes. Make those changes. We are making progress. Please make those changes so we can move on. Please make those changes so we can move on. Please make those changes so we can move on. Make those changes so we can move on. What are you doing? What do you want to do? Push. Doesn't mean. Make those changes so we can move on time. If you have made those changes, type corrected. You don't need to request check. Just make your changes. I will see it. Shola outdated, and then files change. You need to import list. List is not in your file. You need to add list to it. You need to add list on top of it. Import java dot. Java.util the list. Input that java.ut.list. So add that. Do another git add, git commit, git push. So let's do that fast. Let's do that fast. When you use git push, you must state the origin followed by origin and your branch name. Git push origin, then branch name. I'll check again now for those that have made the changes. Okay, great. I see one from. Now the next step is this. After you have made those changes, this one is correct now. After you have made those changes, there is one last thing that you are going to do. You will see that if you click on your PR, after you are, anytime somebody asks you to make a change and you have done the changes, then you will go to where there was comment originally. Once you have done it, go to the resolve conversation. You will see a button called resolve conversation under the comments. Under the comments that have been made, once you have fixed it, once you have made the correction, then go under it and say maybe done. If you have done it, say done, and then click the resolve conversation. Resolve conversation. That will show that had been corrected. So go ahead and fix that. Go ahead and fix it. 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 Go to the conversations where the comment has been made and you have done it. Under the comment, reply it, put your own message there. You can say done. It's as simple as that. Just put done. And make sure you like the current video. Make sure you like the current video. Once you have fixed it, put done. Once you have fixed it, put done. Once you have fixed it, put done. Okay, so put done and then click the resolve conversations. Done, but it's not complete. After you have clicked done, then there is a button under it called resolve conversation. Click that button. Click that button to clear what have been done. After you have replied done, you need to click resolve conversation. There is a resolve conversation button under the reply. For every comment that you have fixed, put the resolve conversation button. Resolve conversation. I'm still waiting for one to be resolved. There is a resolved conversation button under your comment. Click it to show that you have actually corrected and you have dealt with it. So mere writing comment is not enough. You still need to click on resolve conversation button. You need to click the resolve conversation button. Who is clicking close? Shola, you have made a mistake. You have done the wrong thing. You close the pull request. All right. That means you have to recreate a new pull request. You have to create a new pull request. Okay, let's see. Okay, the conversation here are resolved. Good. This is good for Phil. So that's there is final thing that we need to do now. The final thing for us to do is that you should go back to the Bootcamp source code, go to the master branch in the main page, the master branch, and go to select the assignment folder, the assignment link. Go to the master branch, select the assignment link. From the assignment link, there is a tax1.md. tax1.md. So this is where everything I ask you to do is. Everything that I ask you to do, this is where it is. So let's work with it here. So you go through the tasks. The assignment says create a student record having map and key, and then the list is this. So I want you to continue this class by doing all this that I put there. For our assignment, we are going to go ahead and add this method, add method. There is an add method that has these four arguments. String name this. So you create that. That's your assignment. Not now, so you do it tomorrow. So you do the assignment. Once you have added the method and what I ask you to do inside the method, do it. After you have done that, do git add, push it back to the repository. I can see it in your pull request. I will see whether you have done correcting or not. If not, I will also take a look at it and review just like we review today. I hope that makes sense. So go to the assignments inside the assignment bootcamp assignment folder tax1.md. Read what I put there, and then try and add the method. Create a method. We have defined a variable, so we are in constructor. Then you will see action B. In the action B, it say there is a method called add. It should be void. Just write that method. It will have this parameter. Do that. Update your code. Do add gist commit. Then I will see you tomorrow. We'll review together. Thank you so much for your time today. We'll meet again for day 7, the perfect day. Bye bye.